Chapter 9, Scylla and Charybdis. Now, I didn't say anything last video, but this chapter I knew was coming, and it was the one chapter that I read in the initial reading of Ulysses when I read it last year that I fucking hated. And I was hoping that this time I'd read it for the second time and everything would make complete sense and it would be fine and I'd have a new appreciation for the chapter that I could share with you. No, I'm really sorry, but this is a chapter that, for me anyway, you're just going to have to fucking wade through. Why? Well, partly because of what's going on in the chapter and partly because of the way it's written. So, you know, it's a load of intellectual dickheads talking a load of intellectual shit that is way above my head, you know, and that's one thing that really annoys me. It annoys me, like loads of academics talking poncy shit. That has always annoyed me. It even annoyed me when I was at uni and stuff in that environment, and it still annoys me now. So a chapter about these people talking this utter waffle gets on my tits. Secondly, is because a lot of the references in it I just don't get. Now, saying that is not Joyce's fault, that is mine. And I think I am going to read it again after this reading. It's like each time you read Ulysses, you know, first of all, the first reading probably should just be to read it and soak it in, see what it actually is, just have a massive overview of what the book is. Secondly, try and get maybe more of a grasp on the meaning of it, and then I guess you can go deeper and deeper. And when I read it the next time I read it, I'm going to go deeper, I think, and look at some of these references, because there's a lot about Shakespeare in there. And I have read some Shakespeare plays, you know, and they are brilliant. I'm not here to slag off Shakespeare at all. Like, fucking hell, like Othello, amazing. And thank God they did mention the play Othello a little bit. But one of the main Shakespeare plays he talked about was Hamlet. Right, well, I've not read it. I'm not familiar with Hamlet. So all the shit that they go on about within this chapter, it was totally above my head. So it was quite annoying, really, that there were these sort of academic men within this chapter talking about shit above my ken, and it got my goat. And I couldn't be bothered to look up any references, so I just thought I'm just going to keep swimming as I did the last time I read it. So please, if any of you lot do know Hamlet or are academics and could make moss no sand of it, then please explain in the comments to this video and share, enlighten us all. Funnily enough, one thing I did do was I watched Chris Rich's video, because I thought, well, I'll just see what he has to say about it. And I really don't think he understood it any better than I did. There's no real explanation in there of a lot of references. Maybe some sort of thematic stuff, but not much. So for those of you who struggled to even get what the fuck is happening here, I'll just give you a really basic outline of what I thought. So Stephen is Daedalus is in the library with a load of academics, right? First thing that's confusing to me, the last time we saw Stephen, I thought we were leaving the newspaper. Was it the Freeman newspaper? And Bloom was trying to go and get the Keys ad, and Stephen and the editor and a load of the blokes there were going to go to the pub, right? But now it seems that we've jumped and we're in the library and he's there with a load of academics. And I'm not sure at first I wasn't sure whether these people were the same people that he was at the newspaper offices with, but I don't think they are. I think they're a different set of people. So Stephen has obviously left the newspaper lot who were going to the pub, and he's ended up in the library. How are we meant to know that? I don't know. Please, if I've lost my way, someone put me back on the straight and narrow and tell me where I've gone wrong with this. But I thought they were going to the pub, and I thought that he wasn't going to meet Mulligan at 12:30 at the Ship. He was going to go to the pub with these people from the newspaper. But no, he's in the public library. So they're in the library, you know, talking fucking hot air about Shakespeare and trying to out academicize each other, like, oh, I'm so much cleverer than you because I can quote this, oh, touche, and all this fucking shit, which really annoyed me. And then Bloom comes into the library, so we see Bloom's path cross with Stephen's again, not directly, they don't say hello, but he's going in because he wants to look at the keys ad, he wants to see the cross keys of the keys ad so that he can, you know, use it for the new advert that he's going to do with keys. And literally that, to me, is all that happens in this chapter. It's something that you've got to get over. I remember there's 2 more chapters in this book that I hated, but like, to be fair, there is quite a lot of book left, so if there's only 2 more that I hated, you know, it's fine, you know, but this was one of them. You know, I don't know what you lot thought, but I really struggled to hang on, and there wasn't even a will to hang on. Do you know, I was just, I didn't like any of the characters, I didn't like the academic environment, and I didn't like the fact that they were trying to sort of one-upmanship with academic references. It's just not impressive to me, and it did my head in a bit. Saying that, one thing I was thinking before was the way this book is a bit like life, yeah? You go through life and you see stuff when you're going down the street, or when you're in an environment, you might be at a fucking works conference, or if you're speeding, you have to go on a driver's awareness test, you know. Do you want to hear all that shit? No, you don't, but you have to hear it anyway. And that, to me, almost is the beauty of Ulysses, because we're party to this conversation that we don't want to hear at all, but we're having to listen to it anyway, because that is life. Life is full of different people doing different shit, and you know, it can be irritating, you have to tolerate it, but nevertheless it's there. Life goes on, and for me, you have to read through. That's not a reason to give up reading Ulysses because you didn't like this chapter, or it, you know, was full of academic references. You know, academics are there, you know, you can let them waffle on. The words can come out of their mouths in one ear, out the other, and you can still plough on with life. And this book is life, and let's plough on with it.